Our team is composed by Daniel Muñoz Martinez and Omar Fernando Telles Muñoz. Our Mexico, knowing our country through a journey in history, contemporary stage and today, full of tradition, culture, natural wonders, and technological advances. President Enrique Peña Nieto, Atlacomulco, July 20, 1966, is a Mexican lawyer and politician, President of Mexico since December 1st, 2012. Extension. The country covers a total area of 1,964,375 square kilometers. Patriotic symbols. The Mexican national anthem, the Mexican flag, and the national coat of arms of Mexico are the national symbols. Mexico is divided into 32 federative entities and one federal district. Since 2015, is named Ciudad de México or CDMX. Here we present a presidential line with the 62 presidents that Mexico has had. Hidalgo's banner, used during the Independence War. Flag used by Jose Maria Morelos y Pavón, it's just a blue rectangle with an eagle in the center. The Garante flag, it consisted in three slashes of white, green, and red. Iturbide's flags. After the independence, Agustín de Iturbide made official this flag. Flag of Maximiliano. This flag was used during the empire of Maximiliano. Second national flag. This flag was used when President Benito Juárez came to the power. First flag of Porfirio Diaz. He just made little changes to the eagle. New change from Diaz to the coat of arms. The shield in the so-called Centennial Eagle. The President Venustiano Carranza, in order to break with the Diaz regime, makes changes to the national shield, putting the eagle in profile. In 1934, the first legislation for the national symbols is established. The national coat of arms is renewed based on the design of Jorge Enciso. For national flag, adopted on September 16, 1968, by President Gustavo Díaz Ordaz, the national shield was designed by Pedro Moctezuma Díaz Infante and Francisco Epens Helguera. The Mexican national anthem is one of the three national symbols. The lyrics of the anthem refer to Mexican victories in battle and talk about the defense of the homeland. His stanzas and chorus was composed by the poet Francisco González Bocanegra in 1853, while his music is work of the Spanish musician Jaime Nuno. The independence of Mexico was a consequence of a political and social process resolved by the means of the arms, which put an end to Spanish rule in the territories of New Spain. The beginning phase of the War of Independence of Mexico corresponds to the popular uprising led by Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla. From 1810, the independence movement went through several stages, as the successive leaders were put in prison or executed by force loyal to Spain. After this, New Spain became the Mexican Empire, an ephemeral Catholic monarchy that gave way to a federal republic in 1823. After some attempts of reconquest, including the expedition of Isidro Barradas in 1829, Spain recognized the independence of Mexico in 1836 after the death of the monarch Fernando VII.
Now, our next subtopic is the North American intervention. The North American intervention was an event protagonized by the United States of America and Mexico after the economic disagreements and political rise of the northern Mexican states to the arrangements of political structure after independence in 1810 and the inadequate government of Santa Anna that did search help in the USA since that was winning territory and originated the independence of Texas from Mexico and promptly American intervention in 1846 and ending in 1848 with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, where Mexico ceded New Mexico, California, and later the annexation of Texas. In here, can you to observe the two different political divisions? The first is before to 1848, and second is after to 1848, and the third imagine is the first battle in Mexico City, where was derroted Mexico for the American soldiers. Following with your exposition, the next point is the Mexican Revolution. The Mexican Revolution wasn't even because of the nonconformities of the people facing the dictatorship of the government of Porfirio Diaz, who governed for more of 30 years the presidency of Mexico. The Porfirist government began to have protests by the people due to the exploitation and gathering of land to the peasants, long days of work, and under salary in which originated the first uprising in Rio Blanco and Cananea throughout the town. The protest by Francisco y Madero and the Journal of the Megon Brothers that made that on November 20th, 1910, the explosion of the Mexican Revolution with the murder of the certain brothers, complemented with the self-survers of Francisco Villa, Pascual Orozco, Emiliano Zapata, Álvaro Obregón, and Venustiano Carranza, originating the Diaz exile to France, the appointment of Madero as president, his murder by Victoriano Huerta, the appointment of Huerta one like president, his ignorance and overthrow of the part of Venustiano Carranza, and it concluded with the appointment and creation of the Mexican Constitution of 1917 by Venustiano Carranza. In here, we present some Mexican Revolution representatives and the women intervention in this war, the Adelitas. We have arrived at the new stage of Mexico history because our following subtopic is Contemporary Mexico. The contemporary Mexico concentrates on a period of change in an artistic vision of a new rebirth in several characters that led to a new twist of ideals and thoughts that had construction bases in the mestizo and Hispanic American characters, as well as those that were forging on Mexico that until the 20th century took strength and gave radiance to contemporary Mexico. The contemporary Mexico was forged after certain aspects between them, the music, the dance, the literature, the painting, the cinema, the sculpture, and the architecture. Among the representatives of these aspects are Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo, Maná and Julieta Venegas, Octavio Paz, José Luis Cuevas and Sebastián, Alfonso Cuarón, Manuel de Somaya, and Juan Gutiérrez de Padilla. In here, we collocate some images about this period. For example, the mariachi in music, the opera, the regional dances like huapango, jarabe tapatio, among others. The Alfonso Cuarón in the cinema, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera in the painting, Octavio Paz in the literature, Maná in the music, rock, and Palacio de Bellas Artes.
Relief. The Mexican territory is formed by the Mexican High Plateau, a wide plateau that is framed by the mountain range of the Sierra Madre Oriental and the Sierra Madre Occidental. Climate. The Mexican territory is located at the height of the Tropic of Cancer. Its climatic conditions vary. Aridity in the north of the territory, warm, humid, and subhumid climates in the south.
Now, the next natural subtopic is the biodiversity of Mexico. Mexico is one of the 12 megadiversity countries in the world, with more than 200,000 different species of animals and plants in the country that make up approximately 12% of the world's biodiversity, using 170,000 kilometers of protected area, constituted by reptiles, mammals, amphibians, among others. Well, in this moment we present one video about of the biodiversity of Mexico because you understand with a best and more certain idea about this.
Biological diversity, or biodiversity, is much more than just a number of species. It involves their interconnection and their interrelationships. All living beings, from the smallest to the largest, the oldest, the ephemeral, the charismatic, the most bizarre, perhaps emblematic. Every single one of us is part of biological diversity. Each individual, with its unique characteristics, as well as its inheritance and genetic legacy, is part of the great natural universal diversity. Living beings and their environments make up a fragile machinery, ecosystems. Time also plays a vital role. Today's biodiversity is the result of millions of years of evolution. All living beings depend on each other. Life on our planet depends on the system formed by genes, species, and ecosystems. In a single word, biodiversity. From biodiversity, we obtain various goods and services. Rivers and lakes provide us with water. Oceans, forests, and jungles generate atmospheric oxygen. Biodiversity also provides us with food and medicines. Humanity cannot flourish without the raw materials provided by nature. Each day, urban communities demand more natural resources from distant areas. Healthy ecosystems mitigate the negative impacts of climate change. Some constitute a barrier against natural disasters. They protect us from floods and hurricanes. They enable human well-being. However, our world today is going through an environmental crisis due to the loss of biodiversity due to 5 main causes: degradation, fragmentation, and direct loss of ecosystems, overexploitation, pollution, climate change, introduction of invasive alien species. What can we do? Broadly speaking, 3 things. 1. Protect and conserve biological diversity. 2. Use the components of biodiversity in a sustainable way. 3. Share in a fair and equitable way the benefits arising from the utilization of genetic resources. These are the main objectives that the world's nations have agreed to at the Convention of Biological Diversity (CBD). Since 1992, this convention has brought together its parties for 12 meetings known as Meetings of the Conference of the Parties, or COP. A significant number of countries are working to meet these objectives at a global level, which may well be the most important of our time, the test and more severe challenge for the 21st century. In December 2016, Mexico will host the 13th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity, COP13, and the meetings of the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety and the Nagoya Protocol on Access to Genetic Resources. During the COP13, the progress of the implementation of a Strategic Plan 2011-2020 and the fulfillment of its IG targets, whose aim is living in harmony with nature, will be reviewed. The theme proposed by Mexico for COP13 is Mainstreaming Biodiversity for Well-Being, which outlines that in order to ensure our long-term well-being, productive sectors, in particular agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and tourism, must integrate conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity into their public policies. The success in meeting the objectives of the CBD depends on the joint efforts of all countries. The future of biodiversity depends on the decisions and actions of the millions of people who live on this planet. A better future is actually possible if we comply with the agreements and measures proposed by the CBD. Only this way, we can build a new sustainable and harmonious relationship between humanity and nature.
Now we have arrived at one subtopic of our delicious culture, that is it, the Mexican gastronomy. The Mexican gastronomy is one of the most recognized worldwide for its exquisite flavor and essence based not only on pre-Hispanic roots, but also in a multicultural revolution of gastronomic flavors of the colonial order mixed with the Spanish nature, proving the crushed breading of our food, as well as your drinks and typical candies of each region of our country, that makes our gastronomic variety even richer in this aspect that is part of our culture. It is constituted within 32 states of similarity and difference that opens the taste and the appetite of Mexicans and foreigners who visit every part of our country. Among the most outstanding kitchens are the Poblan, the Veracruzan, the Jalisciense, the Regiomontan, the Yucatec, the Oaxacan, the Sinaloense, and the Hidalguense. Then we show some typical foods. Between them we have the pozole, chiles en nogada, chiles rellenos, aguas frescas, escamoles, cerveza, tortas ahogadas, enchiladas, café, chilaquiles, chocolate y dulces típicos.
Now we will present a video about archaeological sites.
The following subtopics are related with our ethnic culture start, that is it, indigenous languages. In our country, the diversity we have is innumerable in many aspects of our culture and territory, from gastronomy, nature, among others, and the linguistic order is not the exception, since we have 68 indigenous languages and 364 linguistic variants of our own, and characteristics of the different ethnic people of our country who exercise them, more the mixture of Castellan with indigenous origin or official language, that is Castilian Spanish, with subtraction linguistic preserve the Mexican language and the adopted vocabulary of urban and foreign order. Among the main indigenous languages spoken are Nahuatl, Maya, Mixteco, Otomí, Mazateco, Huichol, Zapoteco, and Mazahua. Within the Mexica subtraction to the current language are Tejolote, Metlapil, Metate, Nixtamal, Chiquihuite, Tacate, Tepache, and Petate. And within the urban and foreign vocabulary are thank you very much, okay, Guasamara, shut up, sorry, one moment please, ice cream, hot dogs, Pais, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pex? Cámara, ¿qué tranza? Now, following in the same area, we have the ethnic groups. Then, they are distributed in all country. Mainly existed the Yuma, Yaqui, Tarahumara, Nahuatl, Mixteco, Zapoteco, Tzetzal, Maya, Totonaco, Otomi, and Huasteco. In here present some images of the ethnic groups. For example, in Sonora existed Guarijillos, Mayos, Papayos, Pimas. In Chihuahua, Guajarillos, Pimas, Taromaras, Tepehuanos. In Coahuila, Kikapúes. Sinaloa, Mayos. En Durango, Huicholes, Mexicaneros, Nahuas, Taromaras, Tepehuanos. En Nayarit, Coras, Huicholes, Mexicaneros, Nahuas, Tepehuanos. En Jalisco, Huichol, en Nahuatl. En San Luis Potosí, Chichimeca, Yonás, Huastecos, Nahuas, Pames. En Guanajuato, Chichimeca, Yonás. En Michoacán, Mazahuas, Nahuas, Purépechas, Otomíes. En Morelos, Nahuas. En Guerrero, Amuzgos, Mixtecos, Nahuas, Tlapanecos. En Puebla, Mixtecos, Nahuas, Otomíes, Popolocas, Totonacos. En Querétaro, Pames. En Tamaulipas, Nahuas. En el Estado de México, Matlatzinca, Mazahuas, Nahuas, Tlahuicas. En Tlaxcala, Nahuas. En Veracruz, Nahuas, Popolocas, Tepehuas, Totonacos. En Tabasco, Chontales, Nahuas. En Campeche, Yacaltecos, Cancobales, Mayas. En Yucatán, pueblos mayas. Quintana Roo, Jacalatecos, Cancobales, y Mayas. En Chiapas, Aguacatecos, Choles, Yacaltecos, Cancobales, Lacandones, Mochos, Tejocobales, Solciles, Anzoques. En Oaxaca, Tazacuates, Triquis, Zapotecas, Zoques, Nahuas, Mixes, Amuzgo, Chatinos, Chinantecos, Chochos, Chontales, Huicatecos, Huaves, Ixcateco, Mazteco. Well, that is all in this topic. Now, our last subtopic is Science and Technology. Science and technology in Mexico began in the year 1551, when was built the Royal and Pontifical University of Mexico in New Spain. In this character, science and technology in Mexico was divided into 4 periods: the Nova Hispan colony, the New Spain, Mexican Revolution, the contemporary Mexico, and 21st century actuality. Among the main technological and scientific advances in Mexico are Andrés Manuel del Rio, discoverer of vanity; Manuel Mondragón, Grand Automatic R; Adolfo Naribela, first Mexican in space travel; Luis Pasteur discovered the pasteurization; Guillermo González Camarena, television in color; Mario Molina, Nobel of Chemistry; Scientific Community of Mexicans, Grand Millimetric Telescope. In here present the following imagine about this subtopic. Well, that is all, and thank you very much for your attention and listening to me at this simple exposition. See you later, and thank you. Viva Mexico!